Welcome back, Fragrance Fiend here today with a bit of an old video I restored from my vault. This is an episode from Season 1, and I just recently rediscovered and restored the files. I was probably a tiny bit harsh reviewing this one, as I've kind of come full circle and somewhat like this one again, but these were my thoughts on this fragrance in 2023. Let's roll. Welcome back, Fragrance Fiend here today with Halloween Man X by the brand Halloween, formerly known as Jesus Del Pozo. Released in 2019, this one's been fairly well known in a lot of budget top 10 lists, or top coffee scents, or even top performing fragrances. As you can probably tell, I don't really focus too much on designer scents. I may be making a little more designer content as I begin to run out of niche fragrances, which isn't anytime soon, but I do prefer my luxury fragrance more so than the designer stuff. Other than the scent, the most attractive thing seems to be the price tag for a lot of people when it comes to this. In Australia, it's actually a bit of a challenge to get a hold of. I actually got mine off eBay for about $80, obviously a complete blind buy. That being said, I actually found an original Halloween Man sample in the dispenser in the casino's bathroom. The scent intrigued me enough, so I decided to go with the X. This one has been hyped up tons online, but I'm here to give you my honest opinion, so let's get into it. So as I mentioned earlier, it's known quite well as a bit of a coffee fragrance, so let's get into the note breakdown. In the top you have cardamom, lavender and lemon, and a heart of coffee, whiskey, cinnamon, leather and mineral notes, lastly with a base of tonka bean, amber and incense. So up front you immediately get that synthetic alcohol chemical-like burst before it really settles down. The top barely sticks around, you go right into the punchy heart notes, where the coffee, leather and whiskey just take over. This is pretty short-lived for about 40 to 60 minutes, and from there it's a bit of a tonka and incense bomb. It's definitely a little rough around the edges as far as the transition's concerned, and to be fair, I kind of overpaid for this one. I just really wanted it at the time, so I was willing to pay the 80 opposed to the usual price of about 40 or 50. There's so many dominant notes in this fragrance that they all kind of mesh together and become a little indecisive of what's really going on. But overall you will get that coffee, which is more of a roasted dark espresso. So that, aside the price tag, is a very likable factor, and for me the projection is actually incredible. It performs really well, lasts well above 8 hours, but is that something you really want with this fragrance? Anytime you wear a fragrance, whether you're meeting someone for the first time or somebody reoccurring, you're going to leave them with a bit of a subliminal view of how you smell. It may be good, bad, cheap, maybe on the pricier side. It's no different from the clothes you wear or how you style yourself. So for me personally, this is not a scent I'd really want to represent myself wearing. In general, I do like these particular notes, but in this fragrance, it just doesn't work. It's mildly too cloying for my liking. I did actually buy this fragrance when I first started collecting, and I loved it back then. So for those getting into perfumery, I'm sure you'll love it as well, but I guess after smelling probably over 1,000 things by now, your nose definitely perceives things different. So it's definitely more on the masculine side, especially if you're a guy in your late teens, early 20s, it'll work great for you. But it's quite rare I actually wear this one nowadays, especially in my part of Australia where you only really get a chance to wear this for about 2.5 months, where the winters are quite short-lived. So my advice to you is give it a smell if you can find it, but remember, you don't always have to spend a lot of money to get a good fragrance. I even highly recommend Abercrombie & Fitch's Authentic Night. There's only a few minor similarities between them, but for $30 to $40 for 30ml, I'd rather wear this one any day of the week. Yeah, burst of alcohol again. So I may have gone a little harsh on this fragrance as it's quite well loved. I don't hate it, but it's just something I don't particularly wear. That's all for today's video, thanks for watching.